Storytelling with me, Ronni. And this week with the fabulous equality and human rights lawyer, an all-round amazing person, that is Anna. And Anna and I hiked up Lugnaquilla, or the Mighty Lug as she calls it, the highest mountain in County Wicklow, which is also the highest mountain on the whole island of Ireland outside County Kerry. So this is a nice one, a big one, and it was a fantastic hike and a really amazing conversation. And I hope you enjoy it. To explain the context, we actually have 3 recordings for this one. The first one was a very windy portable mic conversation, which was not being picked up either by the microphone and by the wind. Then the main body of the conversation, which was down in the pub later on, fantastic. And then the final bit was Anna sending me a voice note with a story that she had told me on the hike, but she'd forgotten to share during the recording. So enjoy. And a quick request from you, if you're enjoying these episodes and you can think of someone who would love to climb a county top with me, or you yourself would, reach out, let me know, be in touch. And before we get going with Anna's episode, did you hear about the fella that tried to sue the airline because they'd lost his luggage? Unfortunately, he lost the case. That was a bad one. Enjoy the episode. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. So tell a story, one that is true. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Anna, where are we?
We are on Lugnaquilla. We have just been at the very top of Lugnaquilla and we've come down slightly a little bit away from the very...
Right, this microphone is really not being picked up by the phone.
I think it's allergic to me. Every time I am talking, it's like, no, we don't want to hear from this woman. I'm turning off.
It's either that or it's the wind or it's just the connection or whatever it is. But we should probably, to save our fingers, we'll record later once we get down.
When we are back in the warmth of Glenmalure and with a warm cup of tea in our hands, that'll be fabulous. Hello. Hello, good people of the microphone. Right now, we are in the Glenmalure Lodge. So as you can hear, there's a good amount of crackus kiol going on behind us there now. Good few people tagging ones on and having a nice night. We've had a great day. I'm feeling that classic post-hike, you know, that like tiredness where you've just taken in so much fresh air and good oxygen and your body's like, I'm zonked, baby. I'm ready to sleep. Good clean dirt, a lot of good bog magic today. Yeah, it was really special.
We even saw a goat.
Yeah, wild goat.
Wild goat.
Sitting in a tree.
Looking like he was up to no good.
Yeah, he did look like he was up to no good.
He looked a bit skulky.
He was plotting something.
He was.
It was good. He kind of had our back to us and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Good horns.
Yeah.
And a good beard.
Very good beard.
Fully white.
He did look like a wise old man of the woods.
He did. Like, if the Messiah was a goat, he'd be.
There he was.
Yeah.
Lugnaquilla today. Yeah. We saw it here first. Spoiler alert, listeners. I said this to Ronni already, that I had been up Lugnaquilla once before with a couple of pals, and that was a really special experience and felt like a very momentous occasion and day to hike the highest mountain in Leinster. Obviously then the highest in the Wicklow Mountains. So it felt like a huge achievement then. And I'm feeling like it was a huge achievement again today, yeah.
It was a fantastic achievement. I mean, it's not easy.
No, Ronni did have to essentially drag me up to the top of it.
You were dragging me up bits as well. No, it was a joint thing.
Lugnaquilla is an interesting mountain because the route that we did, you go up and along an old miner's path, and then you see and you're then kind of clambering up beside a waterfall, and it's very beautiful. It was really, really nice, and you kind of feel very mountain goat-esque actually, like hopping up from rock to rock and going along there. And then you get into a bog field and very bog-alicious and really, really boggy. But anyway, all this to say, like you've gotten to the top of the waterfall and you think, I must be near the peak. And then you're walking along the bog field and you're like, I must be near the peak. And only really when you're about 100 meters towards the peak do you know that you are about to be at the peak soon. It is a very deceptive mountain. So psychologically, that is, I think, what I find toughest about it. Like, it's not really a hard walk, but it's a mental challenge being like, when will we get to this? When will we be at the top? I feel like a petulant child. Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Nearly there? Yeah. Are we nearly there?
Yeah.
I can say for the listener's sake that Anna did not say, "Are we nearly there yet?" at any point today, and neither did I.
No, you didn't.
No, so we were.
You were very brave.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was special. And there was unfortunately some crows circling the top of the mountain, and I had the great misfortune of leaning on the peak pillar and walking away with a huge gift from the above. So a bird had obviously done his business there moments prior, and then I scooped it all up onto my chest, leaning across this. So anyway, all of nature's beauties and wonders. Yeah, gifts.
Yeah.
I grew up in Greystones, County Wicklow, and I love Wicklow and feel a really strong affiliation to Wicklow as a place. And Lugnaquilla being the highest peak in Wicklow, I have a lot of love for it. I love the Wicklow Mountains, and there's a lot of other trails and peaks and places in the Wicklow Mountains that I would be much more familiar with and do much more regularly. But I think there's this reverence and respect to the Lug, the Mighty Lug, that I really feel. And as I said, I'd hiked it once previous with some friends, and at that time it had felt like a huge achievement. Like, you know, no one has ever accused me of being a sporty woman, or I have a real love for it. So it was really special to go up it today with you. Yeah. I really love the Wicklow mountain range. Up the Wicklow Mountains is what I would say. One of my best friends, Jessie, she lives over in Spain.
Yeah.
And she was home in Ireland there recently, and myself, her and our other best friend, Hannah, hiked up the Sugarloaf together. And we just had a laugh going up it. And I've these really funny memories. It feels like this always happens. You get up to the top of something and it's a beautiful day. Like, I remember we were talking as we were driving there, being like, what a stunning day. And then the moment we get up to the top, the mist descends and you could literally not see beyond the length of your own nose. Hannah is a really amazing film photographer. So she took out her film camera and handed it to Jessie to take a photo of the two of us. Yeah. And like, Jessie had obviously never held a film camera before in her life. And I just have these funny memories of her trying to work out how to use it. I told you about another time when I was hiking Crone Woods, Maulin, Jouse with two of my friends. Again, this was a really nice reunion. One of my good friends, Owen, lives in Australia, and he was home. And so myself, him, and Shannon, one of my good friends, one of my best friends in the world, Shannon. Sorry, I said it without explaining it to you because I've spoken about her so much today, how much I love her. But we did a hike through Jouse, and Shannon is a big environmentalist, and she really doesn't like when people stack stones because she thinks that it is, an interference with the natural landscape, and it's bad for erosion and all this. And we were walking along and we saw one, and she gave it a karate kick and kicked it down. And Owen and I immediately told her she had disturbed a fairy's cairn, or like a little fairy fort. And she got so freaked out by this. And then loads of things kept happening on the hike. Like as we were walking along, we were going over a bridge and there'd be just these creaks under the bridge that we couldn't explain. And we were walking along past a gate and the gate like blew open and was making these really intense noises. And we were like, this is because you disturbed the fairies. Well, actually, the last time I came down Lugnaquilla, we saw very pagan ritual-esque kind of Satanistic scary, like a ram skull that had been placed. You know where we came down at the end there and you had to cross over those boulders over in the river?
Yeah.
When we were walking back up towards the car park area there, like coming towards the end of the mountain, there had been a ram skull left there with a lot of the bones of the ram left around it. So we absolutely skedaddled out of town at that point. Just good clean hiking fun.
Good clean hiking fun, yeah.
Here's a really nice one. I went down to Galway to go to court, and I was up on my feet appearing in court for one of the first times ever.
Okay.
So it was like an amazing experience. And I was down. I really love Galway. I think Galway's a really deadly city. So I'd driven down. I went, took myself for a nice dinner, and then I had brought my swimming togs.
Okay.
So I went down for a swim down at Salt Hill in Galway afterwards, and that felt amazing. Like traveling for work, being in court, and then saying, now I'm going to throw myself into the Atlantic Ocean and go for a dip. Honest to God, when I think to myself, what in my life is the thing most worth bragging about, is honestly just like the incredible friendships that I have. And that's not really necessarily something you walk into a room and you say, I've got amazing friends. But I do just have such amazing, supportive, interesting, creative, like fabulous friends. Okay, if you're going to do a cheers in Ireland, the standard is people will say sláinte, like to your health, right? But I am a big fan of gob fluch, sail fada, spás an éireann, which means wet mouth, a long life, and death in Ireland. And may we all have it. Thank you, Ronni, for having me. This has been great.
Hello, Ronni. I wanted to give a bit more context and a couple of more stories about Lugnaquilla. And we did a route up from Baravour where we walked up by the waterfall and then along and did the circular route up to the peak and then down back along around the Arts Loch. And I told you a story when we were up there about the people who owned that access point and that area around the zigzags of Lugnaquilla had granted access to walkers there for years, but had just asked that people keep their dogs on a leash, understandably because they have sheep and all this kind of stuff on the land, and the sheep were being mauled and attacked and stuff. So they reasonably were like, if you can come walk here, no bother, but no dogs or dogs on a leash. I can't remember if it was no dogs or dogs on a leash. And they'd taken like a great amount of abuse for this over the years, which ultimately led to the landowner was once asking some fella on his land with a dog off leash to put the dog on the leash. And your man actually assaulted him. He like pushed him over or boxed him in the face. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly what happened, but the landowner was assaulted. And so they revoked access via the zigzags to the mountain because they were saying, we really tried to do this. We really tried to work with you, but there was just like, it's too much to have been assaulted. You know, it was the straw that broke the camel's back for them. But anyway, I had told you a story of friends of mine who I absolutely love, who got engaged at Lugnaquilla, and they went for a hike. They were a big hiking couple. They'd gone for a hike out that day, and they were up by the waterfall, relaxing, and he got down on one knee and proposed. And this was after the ban of walks, and they weren't sure if they were in the banned area or not. They thought they'd chance it, but anyway, they were there, and they didn't think they were in the banned area, but they weren't 100% certain. It's hard to tell out in like a kind of no way marked landmass, right? But anyway, he got down on one knee and proposed, and she said yes, and they're hugging and kissing and they're thrilled and they're celebrating. And the next thing, they see somebody driving up to them in a quad bike, and they're freaking out because they're like, oh, we were not supposed to be here. Like, this person is coming to give out to us and say, you know, get off our land or whatever. And they're kind of freaking out and they're packing their bags and they're packing up their picnic and getting ready to go. And next thing, the woman arrives on the quad bike and she's got a bottle of Prosecco and 2 glasses. And she says, was looking out my window and I happened to see him get down on one knee and you jumping up and down. And I said, this is a cause for celebration. I need to grab the Prosecco and get out to them straight away. And she was one of the landowners and they were absolutely thrilled. They couldn't get over how generous and lovely and like what a kind thing that was. And she was like, enjoy the Prosecco, leave the glasses, leave the bottle. I'll come back out for them later. What a special day. I'm thrilled to have seen it, all this. So they were bowled over. So anyway, I just think that the landowners there at Lugnaquilla are absolutely lovely, obviously. And it's a great shame that they weren't respected. Yeah, that's such a nice story, I think. And made me think I would love if, when I was out hiking more often, a stranger on a quad bike came up to give me a bottle of Prosecco. Why can't we have that service on more hikes? Anyway, best wishes to you, Ronni. Talk to you soon.
Some say the old ruins in the sand tell us every story will come to an end. But my dear, we can live what we tell. We are storytelling animals.